Yeah. We ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the stone. When my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the stone. When my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, glowing up, but we still trapped. That's how a nigga survives. Flowing out, got the crowd packed. Yeah, that's how a nigga provides. Y'all insta this, y'all snap that, y'all diss this, and they snap back. Another mass shooting in the headlines. I'm like, damn, where that attack at? Cause y'all think this about race. They font that shit in your face. It's like every day it's the same agenda. It's really not that hard to trace. Fuck it, we might as well face it. Accept it, whatever it's wrapped in. There'll come a day when they run out of grace. So me and my niggas stay trapping. Yeah, ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the stone. When my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Hey, someone be too who I wanted to be and then what I became. Ended up going my own way, but I couldn't stay in my lane. Now if I'm honest, I've taken a liking to wearing these chains. They hold me down, make it easier when I start feeling the pain. Out of the overflow, your heart, they say your mouth speaks. Well, my heart must be fucked up, cause I can't speak and I can't sleep. So I stay woke in this daydream. Got shit to do, got the world to see. Got the same crew, got some new fleets. This an empire, fuck a boutique, that's real. I only say what I feel, got a new plate with the same meal. On a new hype with the same chill. Y'all too fake, gotta stay real. Got cast down from heaven, but I'm too good to stay in hell. I don't know where the story ends, but I keep writing like oh well, oh well. Yeah, I keep writing like oh well, oh well. Yeah, I don't know where the story ends, but I keep writing like oh well, oh well. Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the stone. When my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah, we ride around this ghost. If we show up, then we still have it. Yeah, we slide around this coast. Yeah, we glowing up, but we still trapped. Sitting high up on the stone. When my foes out, got the world clapping. Yeah, we vibing up in this show. So your main girl in the private section. Yeah.
Swolenormous.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping,
The Swolenormous.
bacon is sizzling.
The Swolenormous.
Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing, 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 test, 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 testing, 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 testicles, testing, 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 testicles, testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 16 hundo and 33 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gamecast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What is going on, beaches, booshes, busters, hustlers, and your hoes? It's your boy Papa Swolio back with another episode. Obvi, Everson K2 flexing on all you beaches. I got the robe on today. I am excited. The robe, it's cold, it's rainy in Florida, and it's the time. I just got a pump on. I just kind of, I just took a nice shower. I'm feeling good. We'll be going into the sauna after the man cast. Got to do some red, white, and swole, but feeling good. I'm feeling right.
He's heating up!
Oh, he's heating up. So let's get into a couple things today. First thing of the day. We got an accountability meeting tomorrow. So what's going on, beaches? Drop your comment down below. We got an accountability meeting tomorrow. Fam-wise Game Gs. So tomorrow, Swole Fam accountability meeting. So tomorrow's episode 1634 will be private for members only. If you want to join the Swole Fam, now is the time to do it. Check out swolenormousx.com and you can get started, get access to tomorrow's episode and all that good shit for less than $3. Plus, you still got some fuck your resolution specials going on. I know the early bird ended, but I warned you. I've been telling you about it for weeks, and we still got some awesome stuff over there. So tomorrow,
I'd be the luckiest guy alive if that did it for me.
Well, this is going to do it for me. And it'll do it for you too. So tomorrow's episode, 12 noon Eastern time. Don't miss it, Swole fam. We'll get that going on tomorrow. Also, for those of you that have not yet subscribed to the podcast, make sure you do so over on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We also have Red, White, and Swole, which is available. So you're getting episodes over there. Make sure you subscribe wherever you're fucking your ear holes. I don't know where the hell everyone is today. So it seems like everyone's being a complete fuck nugget today. I am so sick of these notifications. No one's jumping in with their Swole text. I'm sending out those text messages. Where is everyone? You got to harass each other. You got to harass members of the Swole fam. Go post it up in the Swole fam group. We're live. We're live. We're live. I can't alert you any better. You get your Swole text. You get on in here. You get on in here. You bang your ear holes with the fam. You bang your ear holes with the fam. All right. Anyway, it's a Sunday evening, so I get it. You got stuff going on. It's cool. I'm here every day, whether you want to be or not. We are going to crush it anyway. We got some questions today, so all your questions, maybe some of them, will be answered. And let's get into the tip today. We're just, it's just a tip. It's just a tip as we go through. So let's get it started. Let's bust this Tessie out of the nut, and you can start asking your questions. Start asking your questions down below. Let's get started. Put some respect on it. Oh, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, Leo, you drinking on a Sunday night. Champagne on a Sunday evening. Ugh. Gross. 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 Champagne, most overrated drink in history. But anyway, hashtag Swole Season. Remember, if you want your question feature here on the show, hashtag Ask Papa Swole. You could drop a hashtag APS. That's fine with your question. But if you want to win the Swole card, you got to drop some Swole Season. I think we know it's Swole Season, Beaches, right? It is Swole Season. It is Swole Season. Let's get into some good questions today. Okay, so let me pop up Tessie in the corner here. All right, hashtag Swole Season. How are we doing today? I hope you had a great session. Hope you had a great pump. Let's see what we got going on. We got some questions from Instagram stories and we'll get us started. But if you got questions, drop them down below. This is your time to ask me questions. That's all we doing. That's all we doing today are your questions. Your questions. Yours. Babe, just an inch. Your questions. Just an inch. It's cold outside. It is a little bit chilly. It's a little bit chilly. A little bit. So I got the robot. A little chilly. Okay. So first question from today. First question for today is dun 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 dun. Actually, we can get that scrolling text going. All right, Papa Swolio, do you recommend counting macros? Ooh, do I recommend counting macros? Now, before you get your nips all twisted up. I mean, you got some really long, straggling nips if you get them twisted up. But do I recommend counting macros? Now, when it comes to counting any kind of caloric intake, it depends on what your goals are, depends on what your experience is, depends on what you really need to, triple down on. If that's like the last piece of your puzzle, you can really get analytical with it. What I recommend for people that don't really know anything, and it's the majority, most people don't know the first thing about what foods do to their body. I answered a question today on Instagram stories. I did a couple responses. If you don't follow me on Instagram at Swolenormous, make sure you do so. I answered some of those questions in stories, like live. I just answered them recorded. And people are like, oh my God, can skin conditions and can things really come from food and diet? Yes. Yes. Most people don't realize that I would say the vast majority of all problems are coming from lifestyle habits, whether it's the type of food, whether the quality, number one, the quantity, of course, but other habits like poor sleep, poor other types of time management, no exercise, no meditation, poor mental health. It really comes from what you're fueling your body. Your cells are made up of what you're consuming. And if you're consuming dog shit, you're building on a shitty foundation. You wouldn't build a skyscraper on soft soil. You need a strong foundation. Most people don't even have a foundation. They don't even have a foundation. They're building this building that's floating above the ground, like altered carbon or some shit. So do I recommend counting macros? I don't. I don't recommend it unless you are higher level. And when I say higher level, it doesn't mean that you're an expert. You've been training for 30 years, only then do you count macros. But I think people get way too deep into the addition and subtraction bullshit rather than going to the fundamental, okay, what foods are you putting in your body? Are you actually eating proper foods? Not everything should be going in your mouth. And if you just go right to counting macros, you're going to start nitpicking and weighing and measuring shitty foods. And that's, again, you're starting at the second or third floor. You're not even starting at the foundation. So most people that go right to the macros, they're missing something foundationally that will affect them long-term for their overall wellness and their overall results. So you can drop in the comments below. It's a tool. It's a tool in your toolbox. It's just like when you go to the gym, you're not going to use every piece of equipment. I don't use every single kettlebell that I have. I don't do every single exercise possible for chest or for back every time I do chest or back or legs. I don't do every single exercise humanly possible because not everything applies to what I'm doing or what I want to accomplish, and not everything has to be done at one time. So counting macros, it's good to weigh and to count and to get an idea of how many calories are in different foods. But if you're not fundamentally approaching your nutrition from a quality standpoint, primarily, number one, the best quality foods that you can get, doing an elimination diet, figuring out what foods, what fuel works best for your body, then you can start playing around with how much you're consuming and the ratios. Don't just people jump right to keto, for example, and they're doing a lot of fat, low moderate protein, low net carbs, and they're eating shitty keto. They're doing tons of cheese, they're doing tons of vegetable oil and grease. They're not actually doing it properly. So I just think this is a fundamental starting point. People are starting from the wrong direction. And here's the thing. Here's a good concept. So let's say you go back a few hundred years, maybe 500 years or 1,000 years, and you're on a ship, okay? If you're at port and you're thinking, okay, I want to go towards this point. If you're off 1 degree from the start, it might not make it. If you're off 1 degree, and you're going in a straight line, you're going to be hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of miles off course by the time you get to your destination. So where you're starting from is so important. And most people aren't starting with proper aim. They're just, I'm going this direction. Okay, but down the line, a couple years or a couple months, you're still going to be, I still have this little extra belly fat here. I still can't get rid of this. I'm feeling this. I still have cravings because you didn't actually figure out what works best for your body. You weren't lined up from the start. And you all have an opportunity to line up from the start. Most people just want that quick fix. Hey, what's the answer? And there isn't an answer. There's a direction. You just have to put in the work and put in the effort to do an elimination. Yeah, you're going to be undoing a lot of these addictions, a lot of these terrible habits, and that's not easy. That's the hardest part for people, which is why the Swole fam crushes, which is why we support one another. And of course, if something's hard, it's generally much more worth having than something that's easy. If you could just take a pill and have the body you want, everyone acts like they want that. I know I'm going a little bit off the topic, but everyone acts like they want a magic pill. They want a quick solution. You don't, because then everyone's going to have amazing results. It's just not going to be, it's going to level the playing field. People are not going to revere it. It's not going to be something that people want to achieve. You want to do better. You want to do better for yourself. It just has to do with a lot more than just nutrition. It's the mindset of how you approach it. And most people don't want to unlearn the bad habits. They just want to jump to the end. They want to do that little warp in a video game. They want to skip to the end. They want the cheat code. Doesn't exist. All right, so what are your thoughts here? Let's get some feedback here. Supergen, counting calories or macros is just a tool. I'm actually back to counting now and dropping weight. Good. I detest counting. I don't like that at all. Let's see. Moderate Carb Maven, I saw old video of yours that you ate Sour Patch Kids. Is this the case? Not for like 3 or 4 years since you saw those old videos. I've talked about that so much. I leave them up there because it's a good example of how when you have your last little bits of addiction, your last foot in the circle of addiction of the shit pool, even if you're eating completely healthy. And I was doing everything else. I was crushing everything else, but I was still eating Sour Patch Kids, getting my carb pump before I went to the gym. It's an excuse. Once I stopped eating them completely and started really going heavier on the fats and going a lot more deeper into organ meats and things like that, I just haven't had any craving. So it's easy to have those addictions. Most people do. They just don't look at them as addictions. Han Kim, count macros if you're doing a bodybuilding show. Yeah, that's really who it's for. That's really who it's for. If you're really I'm trying to get down to 13% body fat from 14. Boring to me. That's boring shit to me. But some people that's like their thing. That means a lot to them. It's all right. Let's see. Connie Garcia, would it be a good idea to join a food co-op? Maybe. If that works for you financially, if you're getting foods that you enjoy, sure. You know, a lot of food co-ops, as I'm aware, it's a lot of vegetables and stuff like that. I mean, the things that I don't normally eat, but it can be beneficial to you, sure. Those types of things are going in on, let's say you're going to a butcher, getting grass-fed beef or something like that in large quantity. You're buying half a cow or 3/4 or whatever it is. You can go in with other people and get discounts on shipping, get a ton of it, and then split it up between you and someone else. So if you have issues, sometimes when you order grass-fed beef or you find some of these companies, there's a certain requirement or a minimum. And if that's too much, just split it with a neighbor, split it with a friend. Let's see. Any other feedback? How many of you are counting? I just don't. The human body it does it itself. You don't have to micromanage your food. And that's the thing. If you're looking for general health, if you're looking to manage your weight, if you're looking to change your life, it's really a crutch, counting. It's really a crutch. And it's not something that you should be spending brain power on. It's so much easier to cut out all this junk, and you're not going to have to count. You're going to lose a lot of weight. Most people want to lose extra body fat. If you're trying to bulk, you need to eat more than you're utilizing. You need to eat more, but still you need to eat the right foods. You want to get as much nutrients as possible. What a lot of people are doing is they're doing caloric deficits with nutrient deficient foods. And then they're just like doubling and tripling their deficiencies because now they're eating less of shit foods. Oh, I can eat fast food. Yeah, you're getting no nutrients, and then you're eating less of it. Oh, because I'm in a caloric deficit. And your body is just going to be functioning on empty. Empty. Let's see here. Amano, I only count once in a while. I focus more on the quality of food and what works best for me. Good shit. If you count macros, aren't you counting calories by default? Sure. I mean, if you're eating 200 grams of carbs, multiply by 4, that's 800 calories and so forth. It's the same concept. Do you count macros? Are you counting calories? It's all the same. It depends on just how you extrapolate it. For sure. Okay, here we go. Let's see. We got a question here from Jesse. Papa Swolio, I get intense cramps on the bottom of my foot when I do one-legged exercises, single leg deadlift, tree pose, warrior 3. I have low arches. Maybe it's related. Is it fixable with other stretches? You're probably just weaker. You're strengthening muscles. A flat or a low arch doesn't mean a weak arch. And if you're getting intense cramps, are you maybe deficient in magnesium? But it's definitely, it could be related, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have like a weak arch and a weak foot. You could do, I wouldn't do it. It's not other stretches that you need. It's strengthening your anterior tibialis to help support the arch of your foot. I would make sure that you are pushing your big toe into the ground, making sure that you are lifting that arch, making sure you're driving into that big toe. And that will help pull your arch up. So yeah, stretching, you can use a tennis ball, golf ball to help mobilize it, do some more mobility, do the alphabet with your feet before you do single leg exercise. It's normal. It's normal to get a lot of activation and a lot of fatigue from stabilizer muscles that are underactivated otherwise. Just remember, if you had flat feet and you've been wearing sneakers or shoes or high heels your whole life, even just a couple months, it doesn't just go away. 30, 40, 50 years of not using these muscles, it doesn't just go away because you've been working at them for a couple of weeks. So it takes time, but keep going after it. Could be a magnesium deficiency if you have a lot of cramping. That could help too. Let's see here. Let's see, Pedro. I am counting mainly protein to build a visual baseline. It is hard to do it 24/7. Would rather get a good idea of amount and estimates and to stay to my target protein intake. I was too low in carbs. It's okay if you want to get an idea of it. And like I'm saying, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong if you're that type of person, you want to carry on your phone all the time, you want to eat something and put it into your little calculator. I can't stop you. I'm not saying you're an evil person. It can work. Energy balance matters. Carbohydrate, the calories matter, not carbohydrates, but calories matter. It's energy balance. I just don't like this fundamental approach. Like, hey, I want to take control of my health. I want to take control of my nutrition. You go right to counting. That's not the fundamental place to start. It's not the first place that most people should start. They just don't realize it. So everyone that hears me say that, oh my God, you're saying calories don't matter. I'm not saying calories don't matter. You just hear what you want to hear. If you want to eat, it's usually an excuse. The fitting your macros and counting calories, it's often an excuse to eat shit food as long as it fits in that profile. Well, I can have a shitty cookie or a piece of pizza because it fits these ratios. That's not how you should be looking at nutrition. That's my belief, and that's what's given me so much success and the Swole fam success. Doesn't mean you can't do it. It's just that's a lot of people fail. Most people are just gaining weight. They're obese. They can't lose weight. They're having other issues in their life. And no one wants to go down to the source because it takes some extra effort. But what else is new? People don't want to work hard. People don't want to really try, and people don't want to live. People don't want to live different. They just want to go along with the flow. They want to do what everyone else does. They want to binge when everyone else binges. They feel like an outsider. They get shit on. They get fit shamed. They get people, talking crap to them and, oh, come on, what are you eating this for? Come on, you blah, blah, blah. People give you shit for taking care of your health. So that comes down to community. It still always comes down to the 7 pillars. If you're surrounding yourself with shitty people, yeah, they're going to give you crap for taking care of your health. Fuck those people. Fuck those people. Fuck yourself. Fuck the people. Let's see. Papa Swolio. I have issues sleeping at night. I was on Aberin, but I didn't like it. Is melatonin a good alternative? I can't speak on that. I wouldn't recommend. Personally, I don't like recommending anything like that. It's going to have to do with you cutting out on blue light, meditation, yoga, having a good nighttime routine. I don't like recommending all those things that can throw off your hormone balance and things like that. I know nothing about Aberin, but most people just need to go camping for a week and it'll reset you. It's all the blue light. It's all the stress. It's all the other factors that can lead to you having problems sleeping. Could also be nutrient deficiencies too. So I'm not going to sit here and recommend people take that kind of stuff because it can make you dependent on it. Good question. Good question. Good question. Valid question. I'm just not going to answer things where I feel like either I don't have a lot of personal experience or I don't want to lead you down a different path. But whenever possible, you don't want to be taking stuff to help you fall asleep. Aspen Mist. Papa Swolio. What about rotisserie chicken? What do you mean? Making it yourself? I don't personally like chicken as a source unless you're getting like really high quality chicken. It's not necessary. It's not really it doesn't do it for me. It doesn't do it for me in terms of nutrients. I'm not a big fan of chicken. If you have an option to get grass-fed beef, do that. Do that over chicken. It's just not my personal preference. When you say rotisserie chicken, I'm assuming you mean going to a supermarket and getting a rotisserie chicken or doing it yourself and cooking yourself, getting pasture-raised chicken without corn and soy and yeah. You don't have many protein sources. Why not? Why not? What you mean? Oh, Ambien? Oh, fuck that shit. Ambien will rock your world. Ambien is hardcore addictive. As far as everything I've heard, Ambien's that stuff that people take and they hallucinate. Right? Ambien's super, super hardcore. I'm sure they pass that stuff out like candy. Boo. Boo. You don't want that stuff. Okay, we got another question. Kind of vague. Stel Marchese. Papa, how can I determine if I'm eating the minimum amount of calories to build muscle? Are you building muscle? Are you eating your caloric minimum? Are you getting enough protein in? How can I determine? How hard are you training? What's your lean body mass? Approximation, what's your body weight? You could be aiming towards a gram of protein per pound of body weight. That's like, upwards towards where you'd want to be if you're training hard in terms of, and that's like an approximation that people have used, but it's per pound of body weight, per pound of lean mass also makes a big difference. How much lean mass do you have? What's your experience with training? What are you trying to accomplish? But there's a lot of things that go into building muscle, how hard you're training. If you're not training hard enough, you're not doing enough progressive overload, you're not going to build muscle. So it doesn't matter how much you're eating, you're going to put on fat if you're not triggering your body to need to rebuild muscle tissue and need to create larger, thicker muscle fibers. So muscle hypertrophy. You have to put your body into many different, into that environment where it essentially doesn't have a choice. Your body, it's a defense mechanism, and it's a negative feedback system where your body will actually defend itself by, hey, there's a lot of force that's being put on myself in this manner over and over again. We have these nutrients. We need to build muscle stronger to be able to handle this outside source of stress. So how can I determine if I'm eating the minimum? Well, how much are you eating? And this is a question we need to know where you're starting from. It's not like, oh, we'll eat this much amount. So you need to, what a lot of people don't do when they're trying to change or improve or adjust their caloric intake or their nutrient intake, they don't know where they are right now. So you could drop this in the comments below what your thoughts are. Most people don't know where they're starting from. How can you change what you don't know you're doing? So a lot of people are just eating random stuff. Well, how do I determine this? Well, what are you doing now? Oh, I don't know. I'm eating. You need to be actively tracking and keeping an eye on and know what you're consuming. So you know what to change, you know what to increase, you know what your starting point is. Hey, seeing that what you're doing now, let's up this a little bit. Let's decrease this. Let's increase overall, whatever that is. So most people don't have any idea what they're doing currently. They just want to know the answer. So where are you? And then if you're not building muscle, you have to look at your training protocol, look at your hydration, look at your nutrients, increase the caloric intake, and then keep training hard and you'll build muscle. You will. Remember, when you're trying to eat in a caloric surplus, even if it's a couple hundred calories, you're going to be full. It's more than what your body requires to maintain, which is why your body is going to build from a caloric surplus. And that's what a lot of people don't want to do. They don't want to eat more. You feel full. That's natural for the human body. It's stressful in the human body to build muscle, to overconsume. So you have to give your body a reason to use those calories. And you don't want to be eating 1,000 calories extra. You're going to feel sick and bloated and stuffed. And it's very taxing. Eating is a full-time job. If you're trying to build muscle and you have to program yourself to eating more regularly and to getting those calories in, and it's not necessarily going to be comfortable. You're going to be eating past the point of satiety, which is the whole thing. All right, we got some feedback on the previous question. Thank you for the question. Again, a good place to ask questions. Make sure you plug into Instagram at Swolenormous. That way you can ask questions. I do a lot of those question stickers because it's very easy to drop your question there. So if you're not following me on the Instagram, make sure you follow me on the Instagram. Aspen says, I'm a teen, don't have much money. My family doesn't have the quality foods. They have the usual fried carbs, pancakes, etc. I have just enough money to afford myself a chicken last me. Then good. Then go for that. Go for that, Aspen. No hate. I get it. So when it comes down to quality foods, I'm not sitting here assuming like, hey, everyone can just eat grass-fed ribeyes and stuff all day long. That's not my assumption. So when it comes to how much money you have, X amount of money, what quality of foods can you get with that X amount? And that's what most people don't want to think about. They just want to, hey, well, I can just get a Happy Meal. You know, I can get a double quarter pounder meal, whatever the fuck they're doing now at McDonald's or Burger King. And they just see, oh, I can get this value and I'll get this dopamine rush and this kick. You have an X amount of money, you still have a choice. You make the best choices that you can and you eliminate the junk. You're not spending money on soda. You're not spending money on chips. You're not spending money on wasteful, unnecessary carbohydrates. You can still get you get your protein in. And that's what's going to cost most of the money is those, is going to be protein sources. But a lot of places, I know some of you go to Aldi's and things like that. You can get grass-fed beef for $5-6 a pound. And if you have, you'll just get better nutrients from it. And just my personal experience, you'll just get much more value from the grass-fed beef than you would from chicken if you have access to that at your supermarket. So there are some good supermarkets out there that will have affordable grass-fed beef just because of where they're sourcing it, X, Y, and Z, or the volume or the bulk in which they're moving. They're able to give more competitive prices. And this is just something that I've heard. I don't know what's available in your area. You guys can all drop in the comments below. So when it comes down to eating quality food, it doesn't mean that every single person listening to what I say is going to have access to every single possible food option. What I'm saying is you need to understand that there are foods that will work best for your body. And you need to be in active pursuit of that. And finances can definitely be an issue. However, there's still better choices than other choices. You're still going to be able to have better options. Okay. Okie dokie. So drop your questions down below. If you got a question, hashtag APS, hashtag Ask Papa Swolio. Happy to answer. If you got it, drop in the comments down below. A reminder, you can subscribe to this podcast everywhere, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and also check out a brand new show, Red, White, and Swole, available everywhere. You could bang your ear holes with Papa Swolio and get more knowledge cock every single day. So Red, White, and Swole and the Daily Swole available everywhere you like to bang your ear holes. And also another reminder, double reminder, if you want to join the Swole fam, Swolenormousx.com. Tomorrow is our accountability meeting, so you can check that out. We still have some Fuck Your Resolution specials going on right now, but tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time, will be our weekly accountability meeting, and that's exclusive for members only. Tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time, I will be seeing you all there. Swole fam. Swole fam. Y'all. Where's my y'all? Y'all. 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 All right, let's see what we got here. So if you got questions, drop it in the comments down below. I know a lot of you that are here all the time, you know your answers already. You already got your stuff locked down. So we'll keep this train rolling. Let's see what we got here. Got some good questions. Got some silly ones. This one, let's see here. This question, we got this from the Tiger Trahan. The Tiger Trahan. Conventional deadlift versus sumo. Good question. I feel like we've answered this. Well, I know we've answered this before. What haven't we answered before? Yeah, so you just talked about that, Teddy. Yes. Is there a way to listen to the live podcast other than, go and check out Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can listen to it live. No, you have to listen. You can go watch on Twitch if I still stream there. I think I do. But the live podcast, you can go and listen to it right after. It gets uploaded to all the podcast sites. So conventional deadlift versus sumo, you can do both. Try both, see what works best for you. If you don't have a lot of hip mobility, it's going to be a problem for you to get into the sumo position. Deadlift, the conventional, can put a lot more pressure on your lower back, and a lot of people don't have the proper mobility or muscle activation to do that properly. I would also look into doing off blocks so you can bring the bar up closer to your body so you can keep a flat back. A lot of people just force themselves into trying to do a conventional deadlift without having the proper range of motion or muscle activation to do it. And they look at it as an ego thing. They have to do it from the floor. That's a very arbitrary position to pull from. If you're in a competition, you need to normalize the competition. You need to pull from X amount. That's why the bars or the plates are all the same size, because it standardizes the pull position. But you don't have to do it from that position. You can just get a couple blocks, raise it up a few inches on the sides, and you can activate the glutes, just be in a much safer position. And remember, if you're trying to do a competition, people do deficit deadlifts too. I mean, it's different for different people, but you can also get into a much better position safety-wise and for benefits. If you're doing it for bodybuilding, you don't have to do it from the ground. There's no rule that has to be from that standard position. But I personally prefer conventional deadlifts, and I do like raising it up a little bit sometimes when I was doing barbell. I haven't done barbell work in months, so this is a period of my training for the first time ever, really, where I've gone a long time without barbell, so I'm doing a lot of different type of stuff. So once I start doing barbell stuff again, that'll be a nice little stimulus in a new way, and I'll be eager to get back into that. But I've always done conventional. Sumo with the kettlebell is great too if you have a heavy enough kettlebell. And what's good is if you have platforms, you can get elevated on your feet, because I have a 150-pound kettlebell. If you can elevate your feet, you can get really deep and down. You just got to make sure that your knees are staying over your second toe. You don't want your knees caving in. A lot of people that do sumo don't have the hip mobility to keep their knees and keep that external rotation in their hips. And they fall off, or it affects their form. Ask Papa Swolio. All right. Let's see. Amano, sometimes I do bumper or blocks myself when doing conventional. Yeah, and there's also things with rack pulls and such. And these are all different tools. Again, these are different tools and strategies, just like negatives. Just like any kind of exercise, there are different strategies. You could do partial reps. You could do deficits. You could do higher repetition deadlifts. You can do the rack pulls or from a block. There's nothing wrong with any of them. And you just have to leave your ego at the door. You don't have to do a full range. You don't have to do it from the ground. You don't have to do sumo. You don't have to do conventional. In other words, what are you doing and what are you trying to do? Are you trying to show off on your Instagram profile? Are you trying to build muscle? Are you trying to really customize your training? It goes the same way with nutrition. Most people don't customize their nutrition. Most people don't customize their training. Most people don't adjust their training to suit their needs. They just try to smash their head against the wall and do it because they saw some YouTuber do it a certain way and it doesn't fit their body, and they do it before they're ready and they hurt themselves. Let's see. John, the Army is having us do deadlifts with a trap bar. That's another way to do it. If you have access to one of those trap bars, allows you to stay more upright with your lower back, takes more pressure, takes pressure off the lower back because the weight, the center of gravity is further back. What I always did like doing, it was a kettlebell. It's really nice to do heavy conventionals or from blocks, and then you go into sumos or go into like that kind of position with a kettlebell or something and just rep it out, do high reps. Super juicy, different ways to do it. George the Spain, did you see Eric the Electric's recent video? No. Schnoop, I did not. I don't follow his accounts or anything that closely. I've done so many videos on him, but it could take your pick. I don't really know if there's any videos that aren't shitstorms. So I don't know if it matters. I'm sure they're all the same, right? You can give me a little more context here, but no, I haven't seen it. Kid Cash, I started losing weight in December. I was 460 pounds. Nice. As of today, I'm sitting at 282. Is there any harm in losing that much weight that fast? Holy shit. You lost almost 200 pounds in 10 months? Jesus Christ. How much? All right. In December. My God. Is there any harm? Harm? Depends on how you did it. I don't know. You'd have to talk to your doctor. You'd have to get blood work, and you'd have to get... That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I couldn't tell you if there's any harm because I don't know the inner workings of your body. You'd have to get blood work, and you'd have to get checked out to make sure that you're in good condition. But that's insane. How'd you do that? I'm curious how you did that. So 460, so that's 100, what was that? 178 pounds. Damn, dude. 178 pounds. So in approximately, was that 10 months, 11 months, kind of? So what was that? 10, 4, 40 weeks. 1, 2, 3. What was that? 3, 4 pounds a week or so? I don't know. You could do the math. I'm not gonna calculate it right now. But you'd have to get checked out. I couldn't be like, is there any harm? No, you're fine. So you should definitely go get a check. You should definitely go in to make sure that you're good. I mean, there's nothing. Being 282 is much better than being 460 pounds. There's no question about it. No question, hands down. You're better off not being morbidly obese. So that's a huge move forward. Just want to make sure that everything is checking out, because that's it is stress on your body to lose that much weight. It's a big change. It's a big change emotionally too, psychologically and physiologically. It's a big change. So best move is to go get checked out and make sure that everything is all good. But that's amazing. That is amazing. Kid Cash, just ate low carb and started walking. Had severe sleep apnea, and I used a CPAP machine. Now. Well, losing a lot of weight can definitely help work on your sleep apnea. I would check out that book. What was it? The Breath by James Nestor. Breathing in and out through your nose. No mouth breathing. That can definitely help with your sleep apnea. So I would read that book. Check it out. It's amazing. Oh, amazing. Amazing book. Don't want to be breathing out in and out through your mouth. That's for show. All right. This is a question for the fam. Question for the fam. Let's see what we got here.
What's in the box?
We got a little HRT, a little TRT. All right, I see what you're doing. Question from Dallas Ronan on Instagram. What's the fam's experience with HRT? That's hormone replacement therapy. 25M, so 25-year-old male who recently started after 3 years blood work. You're 25 years old? Why do you need HRT? Obviously your doctor if you're low, but you're not watching live. So it's kind of hard to go deeper on this. 25, that's low. That's young. So I'm wondering why you needed HRT so young. Well, a lot of people tend to go for it. A lot of people go for it when they don't need to, because it makes money. It makes money for the medical industry. But obviously you're getting it from your doctor. So if you need it, okay, you're going to go default to your doctor. I'm just saying out loud, 25 years old is young. But is anyone else here on it? I'm not against it personally. I've said that I'll do it if I go to the doctor and, oh, you're low in testosterone. Sure, sign me up. Sign me up for longevity and sign me up for being more vibrant later in life and maintaining muscle mass and having tons of energy. Sure. That's called awesome technology. So I'm not against it. It's just between you and your doctor, because your doctor is going to be able to see where you're at and see if that's something that will fit your lifestyle and what you need and what you're feeling and how you can improve your health and your life and all those other aspects of your wellness. So I don't have any personal experience with it, but I think it's definitely something that a lot of people are going to, come across later on. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. There's nothing moral against it. I know some people say, I'm going to be natural forever. Oh, come on. Get over it. Who cares? People care too much about what other people think. They want to keep that hashtag natty, hashtag this. Whatever. Do what you want. Just don't lie to people. Josh, no experience with TRT. Don't need it, but may consider it in near future. Coming up my 39th birthday in a couple months. Yeah, why not? I mean, it's your personal decision. So if you have experience with HRT, you could drop that in the comments. Nope, my nuts are still cooking plenty.
He's heating up!
Yow.
I like to caress rusty spoons.
Tiva, I had hormonal imbalance, and use hormones, nerve-wracking. I don't know what that means. What's going on? More details. Mo details. Need more. All right, we got a question here from David Armst.
What's in the box?
2hundo on Instagram. I'm a newbie. I can go to Planet Fitness, no barbells, or Crunch Gym. Has everything, but it's 10 minutes further. I answered this on my Instagram stories. Do whatever it takes to not go to Planet Fitness. If it's 10 minutes further, go to Crunch. It has everything. Go to a place that has everything, hands down. Plus, the environment at Crunch Gym is going to be much better than Planet Fitness. To have all the equipment, you can grunt, you can drop weights, you have all the stuff you can use to make some sick fucking gains. If you have the option, 10 minutes further, 10 minutes is nothing. It's nice to know that you have something. If for whatever reason, 10 minutes, or go to both. Planet Fitness is like what? Free? I think Planet Fitness is free now, isn't it? It's like $10 a month. You can do both, but there's no reason to. 10 minutes further, go to a gym that has everything, for sure. If your gym doesn't have everything, don't go to that gym if you have an option to. If you were saying, oh, I'm a newbie, I can go to Planet Fitness, but, Crunch Gym is an hour away and I have to take the bus, and well, go to the one that's more convenient. The thing is, you want to be convenient, you want to be consistent. And if it's convenient and available, you're more likely to stick to it. 10 minutes could be the difference between you being consistent and not being consistent. As a newbie, do you need to go to a Crunch Gym? No, you don't need to, but you should, because you're going to be surrounded by a better environment, hands down. People that are training a lot harder than people that are going to Planet Fitness. No question about it. You don't want to be in that environment. Community is everything. That's pillar number 1 of the 7 pillars is community. And if you're surrounding yourself with people that want to, promote obesity, have pizza day and donuts and, don't be too loud, don't offend anyone. Literally, Planet Fitness is, it's woke culture in the form of a gym. They want, the reason why memberships, it's so inclusive, and the reason why memberships are so dirt cheap, it's because people don't go. They can sign up a ton of people for $10 a month and just rake it in. They don't want people to go. They don't want people to change. They'd rather you not go, not change, and just keep on giving them money. And they've been very successful, but it's a very skeezy business practice. I wouldn't want to. I mean, I personally, I've been to one. It's like weird. Weird. It's a little bit weird. Okay, reminder, tomorrow, for those who are just tuning in, tomorrow, accountability meeting, 12 noon Eastern Time, Monday, October the 26th, 12 noon Eastern Time, inside the private Facebook group. It'll also be uploaded into Swole TV, so you can join Swolenormous X and get access to tomorrow's episode. We'll be going live 12 noon Eastern Time. New releases. We got great Swole fan posts, so tomorrow we'll see all of you there. All right, if you got more questions, we got a couple more here. If you got questions, you could drop them now. I will take them if you got them. If you don't got them, then you don't got them, and it's all good. Let's see, Pedro, Oh Planet Fitness, where you can get a slice of pizza while on the cardio machine, and we shame the people who work hard and may be a bit loud. Josh, one coworker, as far as I know, still has a Planet Fitness membership. He's morbidly obese and has yet to go. Sounds like it's working out well. Moderate carb maven. I went to Planet Fitness and was shocked over pizza. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I felt good. I went to Planet Fitness and was shocked over pizza and donuts. I was confused. Yup. Yup. Fucking Planet Shitness. Planet Shitness, indeed. All right, we got another question.
What's in the box?
Alenda Blackert on Instagram stories. There's so many different things about running and cardio in general. So those of you cardio bunnies, you could drop in the comments below. So many different things about running and cardio in general. What do you think of it? What does Papa Swolio think of it? What do I think? So many different things about running and cardio in general. Well, one, people just associate and assume that running means you're going to get in great shape. Not true. Most people start running when they don't have good posture, when they have muscle imbalances and they just pound on their joints. Most people run heel to toe. They wear shitty running shoes. Their body is completely off kilter and they just smash on their heels all the time. They hurt their knees. They hurt their back. It's not ideal for most people. If you want to lose weight, you shouldn't just go running. I don't agree with that. I'm a big fan of barefoot running, but at the same time, you have to transition into that very, very slowly. You have to run on softer surfaces. You can do tons and tons of cardiovascular beneficial exercise with yoga, with kettlebell action, making sure that you are strengthening your anterior tibialis, make sure you're doing more stuff barefoot, you're stretching, you're doing yoga. There are a lot more things. It depends on where you're starting from, is my point. It depends on where you're starting from. You know, I mean, if you're doing things like I see people in the comments, people that are doing trail running and stuff like that. Yeah, but you're doing it on dirt. So you're not doing it on concrete, pound, 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 heel, heel, heel. We're doing trail running. A lot of that's on the balls of your feet. You're on the midfoot because you're going up and down, stuff like that. So it's much more dynamic. But if you're obese, you're overweight, you have extra weight on your body to begin with. You don't have a lot of muscle mass. You don't have good postural balance, dynamic posture, static posture. You have muscle imbalances, muscle weaknesses. Your ankles and your whole body your feet have been weakened over time. Your Achilles tendon is hardcore shortened. So it's like you're running on a faulty foundation. And a lot of people that are overweight just go right to running. Doesn't mean it doesn't work, but you're kind of like, you're just rolling the dice before you get an overuse injury. You get runner's knee, or you start hurting your back, or you get plantar fasciitis. That's because of muscle imbalances and improper progression for activity. So what do I think of it? I mean, I think it's fine for people that have progressed and are doing it properly and periodizing properly. It also depends on why you're doing running. Are you doing running to lose weight, to get in shape? I want to get abs. Let me go running. That's not what's going to get you there. Doesn't mean it can't help. Doesn't mean it's not good for your heart health. But like I've said, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to get control of your health, start with yoga, start with kettlebell. Like doing yoga is going to be plenty of cardiovascular activity. If you've ever done yoga, and remember the first time you're just out of breath, you're sweating, you're working all aspects of your body, you're inhibiting muscle groups that should be inhibited, you're activating muscles that need to be activated, you're working on your stabilizers, not to mention just go for a walk. People act like you have to be bleeding out the eyes and you have to be out of breath. We just talked about it. What was it? The screen name Kid. He lost 60 or 78, whatever pounds, just walking. My mom lost tons and tons and tons of weight just by walking. She's done that. Just walking. Walking 5-10 miles a day, just walking to the end of the street and back, walking, it works. So it depends on why you're doing it. Weight loss, are you doing it for cardiovascular benefits? Are you you want to do marathons you've always wanted to? There's different reasons why people can get into running. Walking. Rob Whitman, thoughts on sauna use? Love it. I recently built a dry sauna and I'm grooving on it. Fantastic. I'm going to do it in a little bit. I love it. Sauna is amazing. Oh, amazing. Bella, I'm a runner. A third of runners get injured every year. If you're a newbie, you really need expert training. I don't know what the stats are, but I wouldn't doubt it. A lot of people get hurt doing running. A lot of people get hurt doing any kind of repetitious exercise. So most people that look at running, it is repetitious exercise, doing the same thing. Boom, 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 boom. Guess what? Sitting down at a desk is repetitive movement as well. You're just not moving. You're repeatedly in one position. So when you do something all the time, over and over again, you never balance it out. Sitting all the time is not good. You know that. Only doing running, that's all you're doing. It can lead to overuse injuries because you're not balancing it out. Overuse just means you're not getting the proper balance, you're not getting the proper recovery, you're not different reasons for it. So a lot of these answers, a lot of the questions that people ask are vague without the context. So is running good or bad? There's no answer there. What's the context? What are you trying? How are you trying to plug in running? Right? It's all about the context. What does that look like in context? Let's see here. Yvonne, my brother got shin splints after 6 months of being on his high school's track and field team 2 years ago, and they still haven't healed. He was going from moderate activity to running 5 miles every day. Yeah, that'll do it. Shin splints, yoga, strengthening his anterior tibialis, huge. Yoga and not running heel to toe anymore. I used to get shin splints too. No joke. Bad. But once I transitioned to doing barefoot running, and that never got them again. Never. And I did running. I used to do competitive trail running. I don't know if any of you knew that. I've talked about that before. I used to win 10K trail runs, which is like 6 miles. And I did them in Vibrams. I did them in barefoot shoes. I did them with the Vibrams I was using were the Trek or something, the ones with like the little bit of tread on the bottom because I was doing trail running. Yeah, and I've hiked up mountains. I was hiking in the Smokies in Vibrams. Just never got shin splints ever. Ever, ever, ever. All right. Got 2 more questions here. So if you have other questions, we'll be wrapping up shortly. A reminder, tomorrow, we got our accountability meeting at 12 noon Eastern time, so don't miss out on that. We talked about it a couple times. And also, you can subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So if you can't catch it live, you can bang your ear holes with it later. Yeah. And also, Red, White, and Swole. Red, White, and Swole. Summon the Falcon. Make sure you subscribe to the Red, White, and Swole. Also, you can catch the videos on the Papa Swolio channel. But that's neither here nor there. But it's also a podcast, so check it out. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Tomorrow, we got some new shit, so I'm excited. I'm stoked. I'm excited. Papa, but if I run 10 miles, Eric the Electric said I can eat 10,000 calories daily. Do not listen to lunatics. Okay? People that are just doing it for the views, that have eating disorders, don't listen to them about nutrition. Okay? Okay. All right. It's like taking, I guess, bulking advice from someone that's skinny, that's never lifted that's got a certification. Like, hey, I read about this online. You should eat more. It's like, what have you done lately? It's like, prove it. Take advice from someone who does it properly. Okay. Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. Marissa. Papa, for the pleasantly plump, aka severely obese, choosing between yoga, walking, swimming, etc., What would be the first focus? And I am choosing swimming. No room for me here to explain why. All right, so what does it matter? If you're choosing swimming, then why are you asking me? You've already decided. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, if you're severely obese, swimming is great activity because you don't have stress in your joints. It's just that a lot of people don't have access to swimming, so that's great for like chair yoga or doing just sitting down, standing up. Doing yoga at home is great, but if you're severely obese, you need to modify. So walking isn't always a good idea. You see a lot of people that are severely obese, their knees are caving in. That's a lot of pressure on their joints because you're carrying around, imagine just carrying around 200 pounds on your back all the time. Fuck. Of course, it's evenly distributed, but that could be a huge problem. So if you don't have stairs or you don't have the ability to do any kind of activity at home, and walking might not be good for people. It's not always ideal because of the impact. Seriously, if you have 200 or 300 extra pounds on your body, walking every single step is just a shock through the entire body. And if you don't have proper footwear, you're wearing old sneakers, you don't have proper cushion because, you're not doing, your body isn't prepared for walking barefoot or doing stuff like that. You need a lot of support, and shoes can only provide so much, and they wear out pretty quickly when it comes to those types of soles and stuff, even though I'm not a big fan of those types of shoes like Nikes and Reeboks and such. So the first focus, Marissa, is you being more active. So if you're doing swimming, you're choosing swimming. I'm not sure what the question you're asking me because you already chose, but do it. More activity and focusing on your nutrition. That's fantastic. But Papa, haven't you heard you could be healthy at every size?
You went full retard, man.
Can you now? Is that so? You don't say, Josh. You don't say. Marissa, yes, for the pressure on the joints. That's the main reason I feel it's the best. Great. If you could be consistent with it, Marissa, fantastic. Just make sure you're not just in the pool like, like do activity, like run in place, move your body, move your arms, like make sure you're working hard. Do like little intervals. Do like 20 or 30 seconds of like sprinting in place fast and then rest for like a minute or two. Do it again. Do little intervals just to make sure you're not just like floating and like in a pool moving. Make it exercise. Or if they have aqua aerobics classes, they have those weights in the water. That can be fantastic. Just keep in mind that general like aqua aerobics and things like that, you're not getting the overload. Same thing with cycling. You're not getting overload on your skeletal structure, so it does weaken your bones over time. Just make sure that, you're still living in life, but as you lose weight, Marissa, and as you get more mobile, you'll add in those other things. Great. Gonna heat sauna tomorrow, throw some water in the stones. What I'm talking about, baby. Water those stones, baby. Water those stones. I would change my mind if Papa Swolio suggested something else. I want you to do what you are comfortable doing that you're going to be consistent with. So it's definitely better for your joints. It's definitely better, especially getting started. And as soon as you can, I would do swimming and yoga, Marissa. Walking's great too, but if you don't feel comfortable, if it bothers you, practice your yoga, modify as needed, and do your swimming. Yoga and swimming, fantastic. Good for you, girl. Get after it. Let's see here. Noreen, question, Papa Swolio, should I be doing squats? Maybe. Like my PE teacher said, not to last year. How old are you? What's going on here? Should I be doing squats? All right, when it comes down to squats, squats are literally how you stand up. So if you can't stand up, there's a problem. So squats are very functional. I would practice doing deep squats. Put a little towel or a little 2x4 under your heels and just do a nice deep yogi squat. Oscillate back and forth will help lengthen your Achilles tendon, open up your hips. Just practice being in a deep squat, hanging out. Go text or watch TV and, do a squat for 10, 15 seconds, rest, do it again. But doing like actual weighted squats, sure, but everything depends on context. What's your postural balance like, right? What's your muscle activation like? You don't want to be doing shitty squats because if you're doing, let's say you're putting weight on a bar and you have terrible form, you can really hurt yourself. Han Kim, do you think Zion Williamson needs to lose weight? I don't know who the fuck you're talking about. I have no idea. I appreciate the thought that I know everyone. No, I have no idea who that is. I had no clue. It sounds vaguely familiar. Is he a basketball player or something? I don't know. Like I've heard vaguely. I had no idea who that is. Sounds like a basketball player. I pick things up and I put them down. Yow. I agree.
Yow.
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 What else do I got here? Yow.
It's all bullshit. All of it.
It's all bullshit. All of it. Mary, what's your opinion on the Mediterranean diet? Like a lot of seafood? My opinion on it. In what sense? I mean, I don't do it. Here's the thing. I'm very hesitant to be like, oh, that sucks. I don't like that. I don't do it. So straight up, you know what I eat. My opinion on it, it's like what works best for you. I think most people need to be focusing on animal proteins and animal fats. I'm not a vegan. I'm not a plant-based person. I don't think that's the best way to eat. Some people like to do it for moral reasons or other ideologies. That's fine. We accept everyone inside the Swole fam. You need to approach things your optimal way. I mean, the problem with a lot of seafood is that it's terribly polluted. The oceans are terribly polluted. It's very hard to get any sort of fish, even wild caught, that doesn't have like pollutants in it and, you know, ecotoxins and stuff like that. Just because of everything from Fukushima just to people trashing the oceans and the rivers and things like that. So I just don't opt for most types. If you're going for fish, you don't want to get the larger fish because they have higher mercury contents. Because larger fish eat the smaller ones and they just like build up mercury, for example, in their flesh. So, I mean, things like sardines, anchovies, like I guess wild salmon. There's different types out there. I don't eat a lot of it. Mama Swolio sometimes likes to get fish and she'll make it. We have like sea scallops, or I love oysters and things of that nature, but it also depends. You don't want to get farmed fish because then they're just coloring it, and they're same thing as grain-fed beef. You have fish that are eating corn and soy. It's awful. Farmed fish, and it's disgusting. Like the fish have if you ever watch those documentaries or videos where fish have nowhere to move, they're just literally they're just packed in. They can't even swim. They just get fat. It's nasty. So I'm just going to give you some perspective. So when you ask me a question, like, what are my thoughts on triathlons? There's really no good way for me to answer that because I don't do them. So my thoughts on them, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I think bungee jumping is terrible. Like whether or not I choose to do it doesn't really matter on, someone's opinion. Like in what context, Vaden? What are my thoughts on triathlons? I don't do them. That's, for me to say like triathlon, it's very immature and stupid to be like anything that I don't like to do are stupid. It's like, no, triathlons are terrible. Don't do it because I don't do it. It doesn't make any sense. So my thoughts on them are, if you want to do it, then do it. It's a lot of output. It's a lot of activity. I don't do them if that answers your question. So, so I don't like answering those questions. Like, I think they're bad. Anything I don't like is terrible. That's stupid. That's silly. That's silly for someone to say. So, if you have some more context, like what are my thoughts on triathlons in order to lose weight? I'll say you absolutely don't have to do a triathlon to lose weight. Do I think it's impressive? Sure. It's a lot of run, bike, swim. Yeah. I mean, I don't do a ton of running. I don't go on a bike, and I haven't swam in a while. I used to do swimming a lot. Man, you get so hungry when you swim. Oof, man, I used to eat so much, just ravenously hungry. Just utilizes so much energy. So, if I'm missing questions, if I miss something, there's a lot of questions, and sometimes these questions aren't hashtagged properly or there's no question mark, so I might miss it. If I didn't see your question, just drop it again. I'm not trying to ignore questions. Unless you ask a really stupid question, then I'll ignore it. Jeff, Papa Swolio, what do you think about these greens vegetable supplement powders? I'm doing an elimination now, and I'm eating almost purely all meat and eggs. I take multivitamin, D, fish oil. Well, are you trying to do like a carnivore? Are you eating organ meats? Are you eating grass-fed beef? I don't take one. I've had one before. I didn't feel like it did anything beneficial to me, so I stopped taking it. I didn't feel any different. I feel better when I consume organ meats. So I prefer to do that. I prefer to let the animal process the greens, and then I'll consume the animal's organs that give me the optimal usable form of those. Yeah, it's an option. You can take a desiccated liver or beef organ supplement. There's a lot of them out there. I have some in my Amazon store. Or you can eat liver, spleen, pancreas, things of that nature, but not the most palatable stuff. But, you know, you can chop it up and mix it in with like grass-fed beef or ground beef, or just chop it up in pieces down the hatch, swallow it, stuff like that. But I don't take them anymore. The greens. It all, when you start to, and here's the thing, when you start talking about supplements, like, what do you think about those greens? It depends on what your blood work is. I mean, how many of us, I don't even get like, regular blood work all the time. It's not free. And it's not the most convenient thing to get blood work done all the time. So it really comes down to what nutrients you need. And you don't know unless you actually see the data. So it's hard to speak on my own, like, oh, what my levels are, let alone anyone else's. Plus, it's just like one little snapshot in time. So it's not necessarily harming you. However, when you take a supplement, it needs to be from a good source, because you could be getting other types of impurities. You could be getting heavy metals. There are a lot of protein powders that have shown to be tested that have heavy metals in them. It's like, well, you might be getting the protein powder, but you're also getting artificial sweeteners, and you're getting other byproducts of manufacturing. So there's other aspects. Vaden, going back to the triathlon, want to hear your view. What do you think of them? Again, like, what do I think of them? It's a triathlon. You run, your bike, you swim. It's something that I have no interest in doing myself. Like, again, like, what do I think of them? I don't. It's like, what do I think of Olympic curling? It's like, oh, that's interesting. It's an interesting thing to do. What do I think about collecting stamps? I don't. So it depends. Like, what's the context? My view on triathlons in terms of what? It exists. Do I like mountains? Do I like streams? Do I like dandelions? Like, what's the context of what you're asking me? Do I like to watch them on TV? Do I like to go to the race and watch people do it? Do I encourage people to do triathlons? Like, what's your context of that? Like, hey, do you like the color blue? It depends. Like, am I wearing it on a shirt, or is it the refraction of light that makes the sky look blue? Do I wish the sky was green? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the context of what you asking me, Beesh? What you asking me, Beesh?
Wow.
I'm gonna put my nutsack on your drum set.
Papa Swolio, thank you, Cerny, for a great question here. What are your thoughts on old ladies making sick fucking gains? I think it's fucking amazing. And if you think you're too old, if any of you, obviously you're kind of trolling a little bit, Cerny, but any of you that thinks you're too old to lift weights, get the fuck out of here. Bone density, build muscle at any age. Don't act like, oh, I'm 60, I can't build. Bullshit. You absolutely can. Absolutely. 478 will regulate. Papa Solio, what's your favorite way to cook eggs? I like them over easy, and I like them jiggly. I like them to jiggle. Jigga, jigga, jigga. Jigga, jigga, jigga. I think you're better off in terms, I see people talking about the supplements. I think you're much better off getting a desiccated liver or beef organ supplement rather than going for the greens. Personally, that's what I would do. Because I take them too. I don't necessarily have like raw liver or something every day. And I'll just take the other ones. I have, there's intestines, there's spleen, there's heart. You can take bone marrow. There's tons of great supplements out there. Tony HF, do we need protein powders? No, you don't need them. For getting enough protein from your food, sure. I would recommend getting enough protein from food. You don't need protein powders. Don't need them. Randy, once again, no notification. That's why you got to get on Swole text, Randy. You got to join the Swole fam. I text everyone. Send the Falcon after Randy. There you go, Randy. Just like your avatar, no eyeballs, because the Falcon just clawed that shit out. I like ancestral supplements. There's some good ones on Amazon. It's in my Amazon store, so if you're a member, you can go and check out the Get Started series. I have my link to my Amazon store for some good supplements. Oh, got a burp. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Nice. Hashtag Swole season. If you want to win today's Swole card. Scrolling through, seeing if I missed a couple questions. I might have. Maybe missed one. Come on, Randy. How many cups of coffee do you drink in a day? Yes. Cups? How are you measuring a cup? 6 ounces, 8 ounces, a couple. 2 or 3, I would say. 2 or 3. Been using my Chemex a little bit. Yeah, I've been just doing black coffee for a while now. Yeah, it depends. It depends on how you measure your cup. So usually we say, 8 ounces in a cup, but isn't coffee like 6 ounces technically, something like that? So I would say 2 or 3. How about that intermittent fasting?
Matt Damon.
Well, thank you, Josh. Over 100 yoga classes, dozens of meditation sessions, 3 lifting programs, Swole Text, not to mention the masterclass, not to mention the kitchen, not to mention Swolosophy, not to mention so much more, Josh. We got to get you on that. We got to get you, got to level you up on that Swolenormous X pillow fluffing. But I appreciate it. Swolenormous X is a tits. Round of applause. Round of applause for the Swole fam.
Because stickers?
Thank you for the support. Why do you drink so much coffee? It's really not that much. If it's full of stimulants. Because it's delicious. A lot of things have stimulants. Coffee is delicious. Nothing wrong with coffee. Again, if you're drinking quality coffee, you're not pounding it, you're getting good quality sleep, you don't have to drink it. I think a lot of people that have anxiety problems shouldn't drink coffee, should be mindful of caffeine. I don't think that's so much coffee for me personally. Maniacal laughter. Creepy. Oh, you got the Hank Hill. Very nice. What do I got here? I got a Hank Hill somewhere. Did I move it?
You're not making this easy on me, boy.
There we go. What do we got here? How do I start talking to your spouse? You don't talk to my people. How do I start talking to my spouse? How do you start talking to your spouse about them losing weight? That's a tough lay. That's a tough lay. Might want to take a mulligan on that one. How do you start talking to your spouse about them losing weight? Well, my first question would be, are you taking care of your health? Are you exercising properly? Are you taking care? Are you leading by example? Are you practicing what you hope they practice? It's very hypocritical for you to be like, well, you need just like, if you're both eating junk and she just happens to eat, or he or she happens to be eating more junk, or they're, and you're like, well, you need to lose some weight. It's like, look at you, fat fuck, right? They're going to call you out on it. So it depends on what you're doing already. What was that noise? I heard something there. Tony, how do we get time to get to all the Swole content and work out and do life? Anyone who's a wife or mom have any system to recommend? Luckily, he's a truck driver, though, so more time to myself. Still not managing this correctly. We don't have to get to all the Swole content. I don't want to... Yeah, it's easy to get overwhelmed with anything. My goal with Swolenormous X and with all the content, even the front-facing channels, is to produce content that I enjoy making, but also provide a lot of variety, a lot of different options, because a lot of you are going to need different things at different times. You're going to need yoga, you're going to need meditation, you're going to need community, you're going to need nutrition, you're going to need training, you're going to need, all these different things. So kind of like you come into the Swole fam, you come into the Swole sphere, and you don't need to go anywhere else. You get your red, white, and Swole, you get your daily Swole, you get your nuts on Chin, you get some extra thirsty, you got your Swole fam, you got your Swole text, you got all the stuff you need. So time management is very important. I would look at habit forming books like Atomic Habits is a great one. There are so many out there, but I would check out some of those strategy, those actual applicable books, not just the you can do it inspirational stuff, but the stuff that actually has some structure and some tactical elements that you can apply so you could start getting yourself some more time, because we all have the same amount of time in the day. So it's really about how you manage that time. And it's sometimes hard for me to say that because sometimes I don't manage my time very well. I don't like structure. In many ways, I don't like structure because I don't like the 9 to 5. I don't like to be under the thumb of any kind of idealized schedule. I like to go to the beat of my own drum, if you haven't noticed, as if that wasn't fucking obvious. But not everyone else has that ability to. Depends on what your personal responsibilities are. All right, let's see. Dirty Randy. I'm going to get a Matt Damon for sure. I'll give you one right now.
Matt Damon.
I'll just give you a preemptive one. But I honestly don't remember. If I switch to a mostly animal-based diet, could I use conventional fed since grass-fed is way out of my current price range? Well, what price range are you talking about? What do you have access to? Because you can get grass-fed beef for $5, $6, $7 a pound. It's a huge difference. You are what you ate. You know, if you're eating grain-fed beef, you're eating a sick animal. So if you look at a human being and you look at someone who's morbidly obese, if that person, let's say they were a cow, would you want to eat that cow? No, like the person's dying. They're dying from disease. And what happens with grain-fed cows is that they're fed grass for, a portion of their life, but the last like 20% of their life, they're fed grain and soy and stuff to fatten them up. And it depletes all of their health and all the beneficial properties of having of like a full 100% grass-fed, grass-finished animal. So you're eating a sick animal, and they kill it before it would die naturally. Like these animals would die not too long after they're slaughtered because they are unhealthy. They're fed foods that they shouldn't be eating. And the same thing goes with human beings. Human beings eat food that they shouldn't be eating, and guess what? Human beings get obese and they fucking die. Yeah, we're animals, by the way. If anyone wasn't aware of that, we are animals. BTW, we're animals. We just forget we're animals because we have higher cognitive functions, but it doesn't mean we're not animals. So I would check out some local stuff like Aldi's, Walmart. There's some places that get higher quality grass-fed beef, and you can order in bulk too. And it might be a lot more affordable than you think. Plus, you're getting better nutrients. You're getting higher quality foods. I remember I went to a it was a birthday, and it was at some steakhouse. I think it was Ruth's Chris, and the menu, it was like, okay, you had these steaks there that were like, 50, 60, 75, 100, whatever bucks, expensive. But I remember the description of the cut. Let's say it was a ribeye steak. It advertised and it promoted that they were grain fed. It was like USDA, corn fed beef. But the way like the description of the cut, it was written as like, ooh, it was written as a positive. It was legit written as a positive. I'm reading that like, why is this used as a reason why I would want to order this steak? Didn't taste that good. I didn't order. I forget what I ordered, but I remember seeing the description. Like, why is this? It's just completely bloop. Let's see. Discover my local Safeway has grass-fed beef. From Rhino, Josh, Aldi's and Sam's Club have grass-fed ground beef. It's not grass-finished though, but you get what you can get. So in other words, there could be better decisions out there, Randy, that you might not be aware of. But I used to get nasty heartburn. I've told this story many times. Like, I'm just going to say, let's say 12 years ago. I forget exactly the date. I was eating tons of grain-fed beef, chicken. Remember I told you the story? Like the big $1.49 a pound chicken breast. I didn't know about food quality. I didn't understand the impact it was having on me. I had tons and tons and tons and tons of heartburn. Okay. Cut out all that stuff, went completely like vegetarian or vegan-ish, like complete alkaline diet. Like I cut out all the acidity in my diet. My acid reflux went away, but then after like 6 months, I was just craving. I lost weight, muscle. I wasn't feeling good. In my DNA, I was craving meat again. But when I came back to eating meat and animal products, I only ate grass-fed beef. During that time period, I had gotten really deep in everything, and I learned the benefits of elimination diet, of grass-fed beef, etc. And I've never had acid reflux at all. I eat tons of red meat, tons of beef, no acid reflux. It's the quality of the food, hands down. Hands down. No question about it. No question about it. All right, so we'll take one or two more questions. I got this one from Metal Militian. I answered this on Instagram stories. I enjoy a good ribeye, medium rare. What's your steak preference? I answer this question. I like my steak to still have a personality. I like rare. Yeah, sometimes medium rare, depends. You don't want it. If you eat a ribeye well done, you are a criminal in my book. You are an absolute criminal. Don't kill an animal. It's already dead. Don't ruin the meat. My steak preference is rare, medium rare. Yeah. More on the rare side. More rare, medium rare, I would say. I don't like it raw. Depends on the cut, though. So, ribeye, yeah. I like my ribeye. Ribeye rare. Ribeye rare. Take the shirt off. Debbie Dukes, you shut your whorish mouth.
What is the best move to silence a woman?
I'm just kidding. Maybe if you come back tomorrow, the nips will be out. But until then, shut your whorish mouth. Respect. Respect. I appreciate, look, fam, I appreciate you loving the nips. I appreciate it. Hey, come on. Right? Come on. I appreciate the nips. I know. They're here. I know. They're here. They're waiting for you. We got the shit question of the day. We got a fucking...
What's in the box?
How much exercise is too much? Come on, fam. Come on. How much exercise? This actually is kind of a decent question. How much? It depends. It depends on what you're training for. It really depends on, let's just answer this question very simply. It depends on how well you're recovering. It's more about recovering properly more than overtraining. So are you recovering properly? Focus on recovery. Make sure you don't have symptoms of overtraining. Could be trouble sleeping, could be lack of appetite, could be just fatigue, depression. But I mean, you could have those things without exercising too. So there's a lot of symptoms, there's a lot of there's a lot of quote unquote symptoms or warning signs of overtraining. But really, if you're recovering properly, if you focus on your training protocols and you focus on recovery being paramount, you'll avoid a lot of the issues of overtraining. So just my thoughts on it. It's a very vague question, but it has a good answer. All right. A good program has yoga, right, Papa? I think so. Yoga is amazing for active recovery and for strength and for stability. I think any good program should have yoga. That's why we go so hard with yoga inside Swolenormous X. It doesn't mean that, and again, it doesn't mean that if it doesn't have yoga, it's a terrible program. Understand, it depends on what the purpose of the program is. It depends on the context. If you're trying to really improve your health and you're really trying to improve on all aspects of your wellness physically, yeah, it should have yoga. That's my opinion on it, for sure. But it depends. Not every program is geared towards that. It could be very specific, and it might not have. There could be contraindications to not doing too much yoga, or maybe flexibility, or it depends. Depends. It depends. It depends. Oh, we already went balls deep. We're going to skip balls deep. I'm out of questions. All right, so we got the Swole card. Let me just wrap this up. If you have any last questions, now's the time to ask. I'll take maybe one more. Tomorrow, FYI, tomorrow, we have an accountability meeting. So let's get a little round of applause. Swole fam. Oh, test his ass. Swole fam, tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time, inside the private group. We got some new releases. We'll talk shop there tomorrow. So tomorrow's episode 1634 will be private for members only. If you want to join, you could join for less than $3. Get access to that and much more content inside the Swole fam. Check it out, swolenormousx.com. Also, if you are not yet subscribed to the podcast, do so. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you like to bang your ear holes. This is a podcast. Make sure you go and leave a review. If you listen on Apple Podcast and you enjoy the podcast, appreciate a 5-star review and also a couple sentences. What does the Swole fam, what does the Daily Swole mean for you in your routine? Drop that over there. Apple Podcast, leave a review. I want to hear from you. And also check out Red, White, and Swole. A lot of you already subscribed to the Papa Swolio channel, doing a lot of current events and news and politics and such. If you want to check out the podcast, it's also a podcast. You could type in just Swolenormous and you'll find all the shows that we got. But you could also type in Red, White, and Swole and it'll pop right up there for you. So check it out. Apple Podcast, Spotify. Red, White, and Swole is available everywhere. Everywhere. I like all sorts of music. I like smooth jazz. I like country music. I like progressive trance when I'm pumping. I like listening to podcasts. I like listening to all sorts of stuff. I like all sorts of music. All of it. A lot of times when I'm training, I just like that progressive. I like a beat. I don't want words. I don't want it to change. I don't want like classic rock. I just want boom, boom. I want to go into a zone. I want it just to make me a freaking machine. So a lot of times I just like something with a beat. When I'm training, at least. I think we got a question here somewhere. Here we go. Randy, you asked this on Instagram stories, and I answered it. I don't know if you checked that out. In your experience, what would you say is the best streaming platform, ideally for a podcast? You mean streaming, or you mean hosting? All of them. I mean, it depends on where your audience is. If you're just doing a podcast like this, like what I'm doing, I'm streaming on 3 platforms right now: YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. You can use apps or protocols like Restream that you send it to Restream and it'll send it to all the different platforms. So it just essentially splits your stream so you can stream to multiple platforms. So all of them. It's always a good idea to stream to as much as you can. But at the same time, if you're doing gaming, if you're doing a podcast, it doesn't matter. Like if you want to stream it live, sure. Any of them. Certainly YouTube. Just all of them. If you're doing gaming or something like that, like if you're, hey, what's obviously Twitch, you're going to want to go on a gaming oriented platform. So if you're doing a podcast, you don't have to do a podcast live. You don't have to do it like this. I like to do it live. Not all my podcasts are live though. But if live is something that you're interested in, I would definitely do it on YouTube at least. Oh yeah. No, it's all good. You haven't checked it. I don't always answer them in the Instagram stories. Sometimes I do them both there and here. So you got the answer here. You didn't mention the podcast or that you're doing a podcast though. So all of them, at least do YouTube for sure. But you don't have to do it live. Live streaming doesn't always get the most views, obviously. So a lot of times stuff on YouTube, I think it's because they can't monitor it. They can't protect it. So they compartmentalize it a lot. So live streaming doesn't get a lot of reach unless you have a big audience already, but I just prefer to do it live streaming. So you might find benefit recording it or doing it and then just uploading it after. So it depends on what you're trying to do. The most important thing is that you do it. Oh, my neck. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Let's give away this fucking Swole card, shall we? Let's see what we got here. Hashtag Swole season. Whoever left some whole Swole season in the comments. Let me see. I'm scrolling. I see a lot of APS. That doesn't count. We need some Swole season. Scrolling. Josh Fisk. Congratulations. If you don't know, now you know. Biatch. Congratulations on winning today's Swole card. Very, very nice. Send us an email to support@swolenormous.com. Everyone say congratulations to Josh. You disrespectful, whining cunts. Come on.
Stop whining.
Stop whining just because you didn't win. Send us an email, support@swolenormous.com, Swole card. 1633 in the subject, mailing address, and the body of the email. Everyone say congratulations to Yosh. Congratulations for getting this very, 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 very sexy Swole card. Swole season, baby. Swole season. Oh, Jesus Christ. Every fucking time. Every fucking time. Every time. We got to cover this beach up. Yeah, I know. I know. Fucking Falcon, man. Every goddamn time. Oh, sorry. Good girl, Tessie. Good girl. Sheesh. It's intense. Unreal. Haven't played the piano a little bit. We got it now. Not bad, right? Not bad. You like that shit? Oh, we're cooking. Here we go. My jam. Nailed it. All right, fam. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 1633 of the Most Muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gangcast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleazecast, and Slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex. We all flex our biceps. And remember, if you want to join the Swole fam, do so right now, because tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time, we have our accountability meeting. Tomorrow, 12 noon, new releases, awesome Swole fam posts, and of course, a private episode for Swole fam members only. If you don't want to miss a single episode, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Head on over to Swolenormousx.com. If you got $3, you have a penny more than you need to join Swolenormous X. Check it out, Swolenormousx.com. And I will see you all tomorrow. And those of you that aren't Swole fam members, I'll see you back here on Tuesday. All right? Peace, McGeese. Deuce, Magoose, ya boy. Papa Swolio. Oh.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808s, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they king left and they so mad, it's like...
Then yeah, I found that young king with my crown at 10 racks in the fanny pack, couple hundred in the Louis bag.
That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you laid. That's a bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint, yeah. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? Yeah, whoa, my shit is relevant. On topic, my melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons on closets and making new deposits. I'm